Hello, and welcome to Vidhammer, the battle report resource for Warhammer Fantasy. In this video, we'll be covering a 2,500-point Battle for the Pass engagement that was played at the Anthem Games tournament in January of 2012. This was a third-round matchup between the Tomb Kings and the Ogre Kingdom's armies using the 8th edition rules. The terrain pieces consist of 2 hills, a mysterious forest on the Tomb King's edge, and a village that is considered difficult terrain on the Ogre side. For spell generation, the Tomb Kings have a level 3 Lich High Priest as their Hierophant that gets the incantations of Righteous Smiting, Vengeance, and Desert Wind, and another level 4 Lich Priest that ends up with Spirit Leech, Doom and Darkness, the Fate of Buna, and the Purple Sun of Xeris. The Ogres have a level 2 Firebelly that gets Firestorm and the Burning Head, and a level 2 Butcher that ends up with Bullgorger and the Maw. The Ogres win the roll for placement and elect to have the Tomb Kings place first. Their first placement is the Screaming Skull Catapult next to their hill. The Ogres follow with a Saber Tusk on the right front of their deployment zone, and the Tomb Kings respond with a unit of 21 skeletal archers that go just off the left side of the screen. Another Saber Tusk comes down for the Ogres, followed by 21 more archers just outside of the forest. The Ogres place a unit of 10 Noblar Trappers just behind the hill, and the camera misses the next Tomb King's placement. The Ogres place 6 bulls behind their left Saber Tusk, and at this point the camera gets repositioned for player convenience as the Tomb Kings place a unit of 6 Ushabti on the right side of their forest. The Ogres put down a unit of 7 Iron Guts behind the right Saber Tusk as the Tomb Kings bring out a Bone Giant to sit next to the Ushabti. 7 more bulls come down in the center of the Ogre battle line as the Tomb Kings place 9 skeletal chariots between their archers. Another unit of Noblars comes down for the Ogres as the Casket of Souls sets up on the Tomb King's hill. The Ogres bring out 6 Lead Belchers on their left flank as the Tomb Kings set up their characters, with the Lich Priest Hierophant going in the right center archer unit, the Tomb Herald BSB riding with the chariots, and the other Lich High Priest going with the archers on the left. The final placements for the Ogres are their Iron Blaster Cannon and a Thunder Tusk, followed by their characters consisting of a Bruiser BSB that's placed with the unit of Iron Guts, the Butcher going with the central Ogre unit, and a Firebelly that sits with the leftmost unit of Bulls. The Tomb Kings win the roll for placement and start the game by moving their archers and chariots forward as well as the off-screen units. Winds of Magic gives the Tomb Kings 6 power dice against 3 dispel dice. They use 3 dice to cast Doom and Darkness on the Lead Belcher unit. Then they attempt to cast the Casket's bound spell, the Light of Death, but it gets dispelled with a scroll. In the shooting phase, the archers are just out of range of the Noblars, and the catapult shoots for the Lead Belchers, but drifts onto the bulls, failing to cause any wounds. For the Ogre's turn, they run their Noblars forward with the rest of the battle line keeping formation just behind. In the magic phase, after 2 successful channels for the Ogres, they end up with 9 power dice against 4 dispel dice. They use 5 dice to cast Flamestorm, but it gets dispelled with a scroll. They use their remaining dice to dispel Doom and Darkness from the Lead Belchers. For shooting, the first shot from the Iron Blaster misfires and prevents it from shooting for 2 turns. The Thunder Tusk Harpoon misses, and the catapult drifts but still necks the left archers for a single wound. In the second turn, the Tomb Kings hold position with all of their units. Winds of Magic and Channeling gives the Tomb Kings 12 power dice against 5 dispel dice. They start by casting Doom and Darkness on the Lead Belchers again, and they attempt Righteous Smiting, but the spell fails. As a final spell, the Tomb Kings roll 8 dice to cast the Casket of Souls Light of Death ability on the Firebelly's unit that hits for 2 wounds and then jumps to the Thunder Tusk for 2 wounds before stopping. In the shooting phase, the catapult gets a direct hit on the Lead Belchers for a single wound, which causes a panic check that the Lead Belchers pass. The Skeleton Chariot hits the right Saber Tusk for a single wound, and the right Skeleton Archers finish it off with 3 more. Finally, the left archer unit aims for the right Noblars, taking out 7 models, with the Noblars passing their leadership test to end the phase. The Ogres move up their Noblars again, and the Saber Tusk darts toward the Tomb King's forest, as the Ogre Bulls and Iron Guts move forward, with the Thunder Tusk taking position on the central hill. The magic phase sees the Ogres with 8 power dice against 4 dispel dice. They use 5 dice to cast Flamestorm, which the Tomb Kings fail to dispel. The Chariots take a single wound which gets saved. With their remaining dice, the Ogres attempt to cast the Maw, but the spell fails. For shooting, the Lead Belchers hit the Ushabti for 3 wounds, killing off 1 model. The Thundertusk's Catapult takes out 3 archers from the right unit, and the Bolt Thrower hits the Chariots but fails to wound. In the third turn, the Bone Giant does some maneuvering, but the rest of the Tomb King army holds position. Winds of Magic and Channeling gives the Tomb Kings 12 power dice against 5 dispel dice. They attempt Righteous Smiting, but miss the casting cost by 1. With their remaining dice, they cast Light of Death for a second time on the Firebelly unit for 5 wounds, but it fails to jump to another unit. In the shooting phase, the rightmost skeleton archers finish off the right Nobbler unit, while the left archers and chariots put 2 wounds on the Thundertusk. As the tape was changed, the catapult fired at the Lead Belchers, but the shot drift off of the board. The Ogres move their battle line forward a few inches, with the Nobblers angling in to cover the Thundertusk, and the leftmost Ogre Bulls turning towards the Ushabti. For the magic phase, the Ogres end up with 9 power dice against 6 dispel dice. They cast Flamestorm on the chariots, but it gets dispelled. Next, Bull Gorger is cast on the leftmost Ogre Bulls, giving them +1 strength, and they use their last 2 dice to dispel Doom and Darkness from the Lead Belchers. In the shooting phase, the Iron Blaster shoots for the chariots, but only hits the first model and fails to wound. The Thundertusk's Bolt Thrower hits the rightmost archers for 4 wounds, and the catapult misfires with no negative effect. The Lead Belchers fire at the Ushabti unit for 2 wounds. At the start of the 4th turn, the Tomb Kings roll for the emergence of 2 Tomb Scorpions that they had neglected until now. They both surface just behind the unit of Iron Guts. There was some off-screen movement as the Sabertusk vies for attention, but the visible battle line stays still. Winds of Magic gives the Tomb Kings 9 power dice against 4 dispel dice. They roll 2 dice to attempt Spirit Leech, but the spell fails. Then Righteous Smiting is attempted, but it fails as well. Finally, they attempt Light of Death, but it gets dispelled. For shooting, the catapult aims for the Thundertusk and misfires, preventing it from firing in the next round. The chariots fire at the Thundertusk but fail to wound, and the rightmost archers fire at the Iron Guts but fail to wound as well. The left archer unit also shoots for the Thundertusk and causes 2 wounds, leaving it with 1 remaining. In the Ogre's turn, the Nobblars pass their leadership test and march towards the chariots. The left side of the line moves up, with the central bulls stepping right up to the leftmost archers. The Thundertusk moves in behind the Nobblars, and the Iron Guts and Iron Blaster cannon move up, getting some distance from the Scorpions. Winds of Magic sees the Ogres with 5 power dice against 3 dispel dice. They use 3 dice to cast the Burning Head towards the chariots and take out 1 model. With the remaining dice, they attempt Bull Gorger, but the spell fails. In the shooting phase, the Iron Blaster cannon and Thundertusk harpoon hit the chariot unit for 7 wounds. The catapult aims for the chariots, but the shot drifts back onto the Nobblars, killing off 2 models, while the Lead Belchers put 2 more wounds on the Ushabti. The 5th turn finally sees some close combat as the Bone Giant charges the central Ogre Bull's flank. The remaining units hold position as the Scorpions continue to be neglected. In the magic phase, the Tomb Kings are able to get 12 power dice against 6 dispel dice. The Ogres use their Hellheart at this point, but with a distance roll of 2, it fails to reach either caster. The Tomb King's first spell attempt is Righteous Smiting, but the spell fails. They also attempt the Purple Sun of Xeris, but the spell gets dispelled. As a late realization, the Ogre player allows the Scorpions to attempt to charge the Iron Blaster cannon, with one coming up short as the other makes the distance. The Tomb Kings finish off the magic phase by attempting Fate of Buna, but the spell fails. The Chariots start the shooting phase by taking out the Thundertusk. The left and right archer units hit the Iron Guts for 6 wounds, taking out 2 models, but they pass their leadership test. In the first round of close combat, the Ogres hit the Bone Giant for 1 wound and deal 1 more with a stomp. The Bone Giant can forego all of its attacks to make an unstoppable assault. This gives it an additional attack for each wound caused. With its first attack, it causes 4 wounds, letting it roll 4 additional attacks, which cause 3 more wounds, giving 3 more attacks, which cause a single wound, and a final attack that misses. The Ogres take 8 wounds from the Bone Giant and lose the combat, fail their leadership test, and get cut down by the Giant as they flee. In the Scorpion battle, the Iron Blaster hits for 2 wounds and only takes 1 in return, but with the Scorpion's charge, the battle ends up a tie. On the Ogre's turn, they make 4 successful charges with the Iron Guts hitting the chariots, the Ogre Bulls making it to the left archer unit, and the Lead Belchers and Sabertusk getting to the Ushabti. For remaining moves, the Gnoblar's turn to block the Bone Giant. Winds of Magic and Channeling gives the Ogres 7 power dice against 5 dispel dice, but with both casters in combat, they're only able to cast Bullgorger on the Ogre Bulls unit. With the Iron Blaster and Lead Belchers both in combat, there's no shooting for the Ogres. In close combat, the Firebelly uses its breath weapon that causes 5 wounds to the chariots, who take another wound in impact hits. The Ogre BSB does 2 wounds and the Tomb Herald answers back with a single wound. The Firebelly hits for 1, and the remaining chariots strike back for 2. The rank-and-file Ogres cause 3 wounds from swinging and 2 more in stomps. The last skeleton chariot crumbles in resolution, and as a parting gift, they curse the Ogre unit, putting 2 wounds on the Ogres and 1 on the Firebelly. After the combat, the Ogres overrun 8 inches. In the Archer combat, the Skeleton Archers and High Priest hit the Ogres for a single wound, who hit back for 14 in normal attacks and 3 more in stomps. The last 3 archers and the High Priest crumble in battle resolution. In the off-screen combat, the Ushabti take 2 wounds from impact hits and 2 more from the Lead Belcher swings. The Ushabti deal 2 wounds to the Ogres, then lose another to stomps and 4 more in combat resolution. The Ogre Bulls reform as an afterthought to face the Bone Giant. The final turn starts with the remaining archer unit reforming to face the Iron Guts, while the Bone Giant charges the Gnoblars who hold their ground. The second Scorpion stays in the Land of Neglect. Winds of Magic gives the Tomb Kings 12 power dice against 6 dispel dice. They decide to resolve the combat between the Iron Blaster and the first Scorpion from the last round. The Scorpion deals 3 wounds to the Iron Blaster and takes 1 in return, with the Iron Blaster passing its leadership check. Back in the Magic phase, the Tomb Kings cast Righteous Smiting on the Archer unit and brings back 3 models from the Restless Undead effect. Next they attempt to cast Incantation of Righteous Smiting, but the spell fails. They use their remaining dice to cast Light of Death on the Iron Guts, putting 1 wound on the BSB, 2 on the Firebelly, and finishing off the last command model from the Iron Guts unit. For shooting, the Catapult gets a direct shot on the Ogre Bulls, taking out 1 model from the center, and the Archers finish off the Firebelly. In close combat, the Gnoblars fail to wound the Bone Giant, who retaliates with 2 wounds, then 2 more, then 1, and 1, and 1, and even 1 more to finish off the unit, gleefully overrunning 11 inches as he does. The Scorpion deals out another wound to the Iron Blaster and doesn't take any in return, but again, the Iron Blaster passes its leadership. In the off-screen combat, Ushabti take a single wound and deal out 3 in return. They win the combat, but fail to cut down the Lead Belchers or Sabertusk as they run. The Ogres rally the off-screen Lead Belchers, but not the Sabertusk. The Ogre Bulls move towards the Archers, although moot at this point. The Ogres get 10 final power dice against 6 dispel dice, which they choose not to use to avoid self-inflicted injury. In the only remaining combat, the Scorpion deals a single wound before being finished off by the Iron Blaster crew. The final point total saw the match as a draw, with the Tomb Kings taking out 1,264 points, and the Ogres claiming 1,360. The Bone Giant picked up the MVP award and the charming nickname Teabag. Thanks for watching this battle report. Be sure and check back for new videos each week. Do us a favor and subscribe, and as always, send us a message if you have any tactics or matchups that you'd like to see. Till next time, for the Vidhammer crew, keep fighting.